Mr. Gillen.
Again?
Much better.
Oh, yeah, when I say again, loud. So I get stuck loud.
But I don't know what's so good about the morning, but I'll accept it since you say it.
Well, there's so many things for us. We're alive and we're well and we're in our right minds. At least we think we're in our right minds. We're not homeless. Nobody don't have to put no track upon us because we're homeless. We don't have to scam nobody because we're homeless.
I feel something coming here this morning. What is it that you're trying to say, Diana?
I said that homelessness seemed to be a thing to get people. Yeah, get people to support you for 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, 2 weeks. You know, just tell them say you're homeless.
I need to go on the Skid Row there so I can get some stuff, right?
Yeah.
I watched the best movie. No, I watched the best series on TV ever. I mean, like ever. There's no other series on TV ever that has created such buzz in my mind that I want to just sit down and watch it all night long. I binged last night from episode 1 through 8. Shameful.
Really?
Oh, it's a good one.
What was you watching though?
That's a great one.
It's called Ozark.
But you can talk about the show Shameless. Oh, sorry. Ozark. Yeah. Everybody keeps telling me to go watch it. I don't know.
Listen, don't watch it at the end. Watch the first episode and then you can't get away from it. So you got to put away some time to watch this movie. It's 4 seasons. And from day one, you are not just at the edge of your seat. You are completely twisted.
What period piece is it? What kind of piece is it?
The series?
Yeah, is it set in England kind of piece or what?
Set in America.
Okay.
It's set in America about American FBI versus drug lord versus family. I'm sorry, hold on. Excuse me.
Yeah, so while he does that, I heard about it. Everybody keep mentioning Ozark, saying I should watch it. Even my best friend is like, watch it. So everybody's raving about it. So that's good.
All right, well, I guess I will have to go look at it. But when I binge watch, I watched this thing about Anna. There's this fabulous thing about, I think it was Discovering Anna or something like that.
Oh, that's her. That's the star.
Okay.
Her name is Ruth in there. Her name is something Garner, Julie Garner or something like that. Her name is, but she is great from the start to the end. I mean, completely taking your heart out. She's a redneck, but you've never seen a redneck like that before. Purely invigorating, purely mysterious. One of the smartest young person that you've seen on TV. She is really good. And Jason Bateman and Laurie Lindley were just fantastic. Jason Bateman is the best there is. You can't find anybody.
Those are the stars, I take it.
Yes, Jason Bateman, Laura Lindley, and Julie Gardner.
Okay, so VM said, good morning, guys. Sandra said, what is it called? Sandra said, oh, what? It's Ozark, right?
Ozark.
Yes.
Ozark. Paulette said, good morning, all. I missed you last week.
That's the reader. The reader caused it. The person who's reading right now. Okay?
Weren't we present last week? Yes, we were.
No, we
Ozark. Okay, I told her Ozark. Paulette said Inventing Anna. That was crazy.
Oh, yes, Inventing
I couldn't stop
Anna.
watching it.
Fabulous, man. Yes.
And Jude said good morning, all.
Yes.
Yes.
That was-
Agree.
Hold on, this. Oh yeah, what binge watch show you talk about you have to study.
After me
What
done
kinda-
study last night at 1 o'clock, I just sit down and watch until like 5:30 this morning.
So what time you sleep?
Me no sleep yet.
That's not good for you, you know.
Not good.
It's just one night, so what?
All right, my dear. We're not here to
That movie kept me up really good. I mean, really, really good. Really good.
good for you.
That's good.
So, Olande, isn't this a show? Aren't we here? Shouldn't we say good morning, people? Good morning to Conversation Live with Diana, Leo, and Michelle. Shouldn't we be saying that? Welcome aboard and all of that good stuff. Isn't that what isn't that show we're talking about right here?
Yeah, but you wanted to talk about your newfound show.
Movies.
So we allowed you
Yes.
to.
And we
So-
allowed you to. We're very engaging. We're very tolerant on this show. And our audience, our colleagues, our brethren, them online, eager to hear and participate. So, I mean, we don't want to disturb your thought process. But now that you've paused, we can say good morning from Jamaica. Nice, bright, sunny morning out for me.
Good
How is it?
morning from the beautiful
Are you
state
sure about
of
that?
Florida.
Are
Yeah.
you sure about that? You don't look so sure.
I think she was checking our weather.
Yeah, kind of cold, but all right.
It cool
I'm
up.
outside.
We
Yeah.
had rain here in South Florida this morning. It felt so good watching
wow.
Ozark and listening to the rain. It was just beautiful.
Nice.
And
That
then a
was
friend of
beautiful.
mine sent me a video this morning. No, a couple of videos this morning overlooking. No, me a chat about overlooking Kingston and the dam and the ocean. It was a beautiful sight. Oh, really nice. I'll put that up.
Yes. Yeah. So guys, tell us where are you at? What's the weather like for you this morning? You know, April done. Let me check a few boxes. Ambassador Audrey Marks, good morning. Good morning, and
morning.
special happy birthday to you. Today is her birthday. I think
Oh,
she's
wow.
probably celebrating her 40th birthday. You know, her timeless and ageless. So we'll make her stay at 40.
Happy birthday.
Audrey.
You know, what's coming up this morning is we are supposed to be interviewing Mr. Joseph Patterson. If you don't know nothing about Joseph Patterson, you don't know about him this morning.
Okay, good.
He is the president of the United Independent Congress, UIC. Anybody know what UIC is?
United Independent Congress. You just told us.
You know, I'm going to block Diana from this show. I'm going to block her from coming onto the show here. Okay?
I will come.
All right.
Sandy will let me in. Sandy will let me in. Oh my gosh.
UIC is the third party in Jamaica,
Mhm.
Is it?
political party.
Oh, it's registered.
Of course, it is registered.
But don't they
Okay.
have other parties?
Well, we find out that this morning.
Well, I think it's the third. Yeah, because they have a Rasta man who always
Yeah, and
And what about the church one?
NDM still exists.
I don't think NDM is in existent anymore.
They were on the last ballot, like a few.
we're on the last ballot.
Yeah, a few candidates.
A few
Oh.
candidates. All right, so this is contending to be the third major. That's the
All
state.
right. Yes.
Thinking
So we'll
that's-
find out what position the party is in when we get there this morning. All
All
right.
right. So he's joining us this morning at what time, Leo?
I don't know. If we tell the people them what time, they will come off of the phone and then come back when they come on. So we not tell them no what we not tell them. Make them listen to it. Make them listen to it and have fun. We not tell them when they come on. And you're so poppy, you know.
Okay, Jude said good morning, all. Millicent said good morning from Atlanta. Sanika said good morning, first time here. Paulette said
Ooh. Let's welcome her.
Sanika Patterson. Huh.
Patterson.
I wonder
Oh.
if there's a connection.
Hold on. Is there a connection, Senika? Tell us on which part
Yes,
you're
I'm
there.
wondering.
Are you in Germany? Are you in South Africa like
Must be in
Diana was?
Jamaica, man. Sanika must be in Jamaica.
Okay.
Paulette said it's a beautiful day in New York City. Marska said good morning, all blessings. Dorette said good morning from Mount Vernon, New York. 54 degrees there. Sanika said, I might be.
Oh, smarty pants, huh? Okay, all right. Good morning to you, Sanika. Very nice name, I must tell you.
Yeah, that's kind of unusual. But you know, when she says I might be, it kind of reminds you of Alice in Wonderland and the Mad Hatter. How the Mad Hatter would ask all these questions and riddles, and him don't have no answer to it, you know. Him don't know no answer to it, but he might ask them. Oh my God. So
Who remembers Seneca Falls? Anybody remembers that?
Seneca Falls.
No, Falls. Seneca Falls. 1920. Anybody remembers that?
Is that a book or a place or what?
Okay, so when women became, what am I going to say? Tell me.
I don't know, but continue.
Women became eligible to vote in this country, United States, here, 1920.
Yes.
All because of a big conference in Seneca Falls.
Yes.
All right. So please go and search that up. We're not supposed to find out the story.
Okay. Sanika said she's born in Jamaica, living in Canada. She said, thank you. Marsca said, Michelle, you're always so bright. Thank you. Teresa said, good morning, everyone on here.
Where's this bright thing coming from? Hold on. What about me? What about?
That's what she said next. She said, the rest, please don't be jealous. You're all wonderful. VM said, good morning, everyone. Donna said, good morning, everyone. Lorna said, good morning, guys. Checking in from North Carolina.
Yay! We love North Carolina.
We do.
And so Dana, what's
Yes.
the story this morning? Who are we
Well,
this
let me tell
morning?
you, I have lots of stories this morning. I probably don't even know where to start. I had some stories lined up, and then this morning I have to look at some sad piece when I just went on to the Gleaner, because there's a triple murder down in Augustown.
Yeah.
And you know, you just tired of hearing these things. The deceased, whose identities have not yet been disclosed, were reportedly coming from a party about 5 o'clock when they were attacked. Triple murder, 3 people lose their life just like that.
But let me ask you this, Dana.
Yes.
Why is it that we move from headlines to headlines to headline to almost every day there is something major going on in Jamaica and I don't see in America? I have to wait for at least a week, 9 days before I get another major event going on in America. I get it every day in Jamaica, a major event that's taking place. If it's not somebody broke into the king's house, it's somebody murder. I mean, that kind of thing. I mean, what's going on?
I don't know, but we need a lot of structure. We need a lot of process. We need other ways to engage people. People coming in at 5 o'clock in the morning, no need to be attacked. 5 o'clock is almost daylight. Somebody breaking into the governor general's property is reason for me to be scared, because if they're supposed to be having the best protection on the face of the place, and them can broke into his place, and them they even realize that them broke in until 3 days after them broke into the place, then something is wrong.
That's a story. The governor general never knows them broke
No,
in
well,
the place.
whoever the policeman whose pace them break into never know, because him never come back to work until a couple of days later. That's when he realized. But where is that? Where's that process? There's some part in the anyway. That is for them business. Because I just
No. Are you saying that there's a post that's left vacant because he went off on vacation? So nobody.
Well, he was off, and then he returned to work Wednesday or so, and that's when he raised the alarm that his place was ramshackle. Unless it's somebody on the property do it. And
All right. So nobody else sat in his place after he left.
that's exactly my point, Leo. That there is something wrong with the process, because who is the person who relieved this man in this critical position? Or it raises the issue, do we really need that post?
Probably we don't. That might be just something that they need to save some money here. We can save some money here.
We don't need that post. And then on the bright side of things, pen relays got into record-breaking business. They set a record for the 4x400. I don't know what class.
Who did?
Heidel High School.
But did you know that Immaculate Conception came in 5th. I can't believe it. At Penn Relays. They might get big. They might
I'm
get big.
disappointed because I'm sure they were gunning for 1, 2, 3 position. But to have done 50 is excellent. It's a young team.
Wait, where's Idel from? What is Idel, by the way?
Idel is out in just on the Mandela Highway. You remember this lady, Bennett? She's an excellent educator, and then she started the school Idel, and she provided a place for students within that Spanish Town area, Kingston, doing that kind of space. You remember it used to be Coney Island or something like that?
Yes, I remember that. But what I kept thinking about was a high-class school in Manchester.
No, that name Hillel.
Oh, Lord of mercy, Jesus. Okay,
That
all right.
Hillel.
Well, so we wouldn't see Hillel at
Oh,
Tampa.
no, you wouldn't see Hillel there. However, Hillel competed in some volleyball competition the other day, a local thing, and they did quite well too. So you still have some rootsy people down there. I know only because a friend of mine's daughter was on the team and shared that they were coming.
I guess it wouldn't be in the news. We have to hear it from you. You are the news anyway.
It wouldn't be in the news that me and you read. It probably that we don't get. and then no, we go back to some sad news and unfortunate news because the British Virgin Islands premier found himself on the wrong side of the law. So the arrest of Premier Andrew Altro Fahy in Florida prompted the UK-appointed governor of the British Virgin Islands to release a damning report Friday from a probe into separate wide-ranging allegations of corruption. So Fahy was arrested Thursday in Miami Opa Local Executive Airport along with his territory directors of port, Mrs. Bernard, in a U.S. drug enforcement sting. Bernard's son faces the same charges in the scheme. According to a criminal complaint, Fahy and Bernard had been at the airport to meet Mexican drug traffickers who in reality were undercover DEA agents.
In their read Butcher report.
Well, I don't understand why it is that the DEA agents continue to fake positions to arrest.
They have the right to do that.
They have to do it.
They have the right to do it. That's a part of their whole enforcement business. They have undercover just like everybody else, and they do things just like just to catch a.
So they tell a lie and entrap people falsely.
It's not entrapment.
It's not entrapment.
The Constitution protects them. It's not.
The Constitution protects them. It's not entrapment.
Why is it not entrapment?
Well, it's a legal entrapment.
Because they have certain rights and privilege. Yeah.
Yes.
They have certain rights and privilege in order to apprehend people.
Yeah, it's a legal entrapment. That's how Buju got into trouble.
Well, somebody snitched on Buju.
Yeah, but they get into trouble for something that is not even real.
They get into trouble because they have the
women in a real.
They are doing it.
But it's not real because they don't have no drugs. This man don't have no drugs. Him don't get no money. Him don't get nothing. Him don't traffic nothing. Him don't allow.
No, but that's the thing, though. He was facilitating and explaining to them how they could get it, the conspiracy, how to get the drugs into their country and how to bypass all these different agencies.
He has different.
He's part of a whole conspiracy. That's why it's called conspiracy. But yeah, they can do it. How you think we gonna get rid of these crimes? They need to focus on Jamaica next, because as I told you, it's not the little men bringing drugs and guns in Jamaica. They need to bust up Jamaica too. But then again, we'll see if that happens.
Well, the other day we found a lot of money in Jamaica, lots and lots of millions of US.
Hey, they don't go there.
Huh?
75 million and 5 million. 75 million versus 5 million is ridiculous. How do you report?
3 point something.
What?
It was an estimation.
Hold on. The first day, it was US $75 million. That was in the report.
But can you conjure up $75 million US in cash?
It was an estimate. It's an estimation.
How do you estimate $75 million? How do you guess?
They say it was
first
worth,
day.
Are the drugs was worth 75?
No, the drug is worth 85 million Jamaican.
Yeah.
The drug.
Yeah, sure.
And the next day it's US. Yeah. Then the next day it's 5 million US. And then it's gone on to
Canadian. But
But then you see, it raises a question of credibility, a big question of credibility, because when our police officers come out and say to us that this is an estimated fine in cash, not in kind, in cash of $75 million, the average banker, a teller, anybody in a bank can estimate looking at it.
The whole bank.
They can assume how much money it is just by counting the bags or the wads of
they
cash.
don't know.
So you don't
Then
overestimate
if it's snapshot,
75 million to 7.5 million to 5 million, and then you count it and it becomes 3 point something million.
yeah. What they need to do, instead of trying to always rush to be the first to put out the news, they should just have one spokesperson, which they do have, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, provide this information instead of contact them first. But the media is always wanting to be the first man out to catch the headline. Like when it says 75 million, everybody like, oh my God, Jamaica have $75 million, one person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they need to slow down.
I think I need to go. I think I need to go to Diane's house because I want to see how 75 million gonna hold inside of your house.
I can't fathom $75 million holding in my house in legitimate denominations.
The $20 bill.
$100 bill. And unless you...
It was not 75 million. They show us a picture. When you look at the picture, it was obvious it wasn't 70. If you saw 75 million, when you saw the picture, it's obvious it wasn't. So I'm not sure.
We are not saying whether it was or not. We are talking about the news headline.
I didn't say 75 mil, but yeah.
You didn't, okay.
Yeah,
no, I didn't
but
see
it
the
was
75.
said, and then at one point it was 7.5 million US. But even if it was that it started at 7.5, you don't overestimate 7.5 to 3.8 or 3.6. That's a half of it.
No, people said they steal the money. So now people are saying, what happened to the other rest of the million? Somebody stole it. So, okay.
All I'm have to do is watch out who build house. All I'm have to do is watch out who build house from now.
But they're not going to build no house over here. What do you, Leo?
What do you Billy?
I saw an article that they said like some drugs missing, I think Portland. But then they said the car mart is empty. So like people buy up cars already. So they said they're going to start tracking people in Jamaica. But everything is getting heavier. Notice every week is a drug bust.
Well, let us say every week there's a declaration that there's a drug bust.
Yeah.
We got a declaration earlier in the week about the Cornwall incident, and then within hours we got that it was just like we get the money and then it's not, so the money goes.
I am wondering how is
a particular neck of our woods.
Why is it that our reporting is not being scrutinized? Who has the authority to look at what we call news to the general public and say, this is crazy, you can't be doing this? What authority?
They don't have a body.
What authority? Yeah, what authority is saying you cannot do this?
I don't know. Can I read some comments?
It's
a lot coming in. Angela said good morning from everyone from New Jersey. Richard said different approach to press reporting. Patricia said good morning, DLM. Happy Sabbath. Patricia said happy Sabbath, everyone. Sandra said good morning, my beautiful people. Watching for a little from Los Angeles, which means Minode Amiyad. Just says, Dr. Diana, we need some of them in Jamaica to clean up Jamaica. Richard said, Diana, you need to educate yourself on these issues if you intend to participate in discussions of this nature. Richard.
What's she talking about?
What?
No, I guess I stepped away. When I stepped away, I have construction going on, so I have to keep stepping away. Mm-hmm. Richard said the drug was estimated at Jamaica 500 million and another Jamaican 750 million in US. Jamaica. And Jamaica cash. The fact is that some of the money walk away. Just say, Leo, we don't have news anymore. We have social media posts.
Okay.
No great investigation
is
being done. I see one guy now that does major in reporting. Like his name, I think, is Richard Brooks. Like he always does detail, investigative reporting when he does his reports on the media. He's really good. But what are you saying, Leo?
I don't.
I want to comment on Richard's comment. Dana, you need to educate yourself on these issues if you intend to participate in
What is he
discussions
talking
of this
about?
nature. And I would ask for him to clarify what it is that I have evidenced my incompetence and my lack of knowledge and my supposed brilliance on.
Lord, he didn't say all of that. He didn't say all of that. Lord.
That is the
Yes.
So I want for him to clarify that before my PR officer, Miss Sandra.
Oh my, Sandra, take him on already. Sandra said, we're not like that. Sandra said, Richard, are you being sarcastic because you are speaking to Madame President of Jamaica first?
And we welcome the comments of everybody here, but just keep it above board and don't try to draw out people here. Don't suggest that any of our participants or presenters are uneducated about something. We might be uninformed about something, but certainly not uneducated. All right. There are a number of other matters that I wish to raise.
And he said he was talking about the drug interdiction issue and how the USCEA operates.
Yes, but my intent is to ask questions and to seek clarification.
A lot of people don't know, so
don't assume that I'm uneducated about it.
Okay. Well, the point is though.
You're not.
No. The point is, he probably doesn't know that you are in Jamaica, and we are in the United States, and so there's a difference in jurisdictional laws and all of that stuff. I mean, so. You just have to make sure that
right, the intent really, you don't have to excuse me or him. The intent really is to make sure that everybody is educated and informed, and we ask a question that extracted. So
and this is a show. This is a show about our opinions.
You have to defend yourself.
So we're not going to defend
we
ourselves.
Don't chat out. We not take that. And that's what I like. We don't chat. But the thing is that.
Be careful how you frame things, guys.
But the thing is that your opinion is the opinion of many others that have taken the government to court, stating the same thing. So your opinion is really people's opinion. Their attorneys saying they're being entrapped. As you see, Buju, I'd use that argument also. So that is a lot of people disagree with the government.
And there's a lot of disagreement around the world on that particular issue of legal entrapment, because that's what it comes down to. Yes, Diana says entrapment. It is right. It is entrapment, but the law allows it.
Protects them.
All right. So we're moving right along with the news because I'm in charge of the news here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Police Federation blasts government and warns effort will match government about compensation. So speaking at a parish conference of the Trelawney division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force on Thursday, what's his name? Rohan James, federal chairman, and I'm skipping out some of the things that don't make sense.
Federal chairman.
Chairman of the COP, yes, the Jamaica Police Federation.
Oh, Federation. Okay.
So the Jamaica Police Federation Chairman Corporal Rohan James blasted the government, in particular the Finance Ministry, for its handling of the current wage negotiations, going as far as labeling them as modern-day slave masters. Was that a little bit harsh?
We are
the foot soldiers, the vanguards of people of Jamaica, and I'm not going to retract the statement by saying our employers are modern-day enslavers. Enough is enough, he declared, as he took the government to task over the issue of COP's overtime payments, a matter that is now before the courts.
All right, so we did talk about that on the show.
Yes.
And we talked about how police officers only make a certain amount of money,
$80,000.
The government as the officers in court for their own overtime pay, right? And so slave master might be a little over exaggeration, but if you're a police officer who even inside your bed you're at risk of being shot in a Jamaican perspective. Just walking out on the street, you know, people have a gun pointing at police officers all the time. It's just the way it is. And so $80,000 is not enough. $80,000 a year is not a month or a year. It's a month, right? Per month. It's not enough. Yes, it's not enough for someone to take those kind of risks each day going out on and be a point of bullet each time when you wake up in the morning. $80,000. That can't even carry my girlfriend go fish, go eat fish.
Only a fine girlfriend.
Oh, listen, anytime we go eat one 2-pound fish, down a Montego Bay, it costs probably about $20,000 just
It is
for the
expensive.
fish. You understand? And so,
Yeah.
how could you talk about $80,000 to give a police and then carry them go court for their own overtime? That don't make any sense at all to me. Make no sense.
Yeah, that is sad because I was thinking while you were talking about the 80,000, I'm like, imagine you have to pay grocery, and for those who take taxi, and you have to pay rent. Like, how you gonna survive? And then
light bill.
And light bill, yes. So how they gonna survive? And this is why they turn to other things that you're trying to say they're not to turn to. But
That's why
they gonna survive.
That's why the 75 million turned into 5 million or 3 million.
I don't know that
No, it's just an underestimation of the amount from the get-go. No.
I am asking.
No, and we don't think so.
I don't know, but yes,
it's an overestimation in the first instance.
Yeah, but the kind of side, you're supposed to get paid where you can comfortably like relax on your weekend, have your evenings. But then you see these officers have to be have like taxi on the road. The one that died last week running a bar, or they are security guards in addition to being police officers. So they have to pay them better and livable wages. That's why they're so like relaxed in some of their areas of carrying out their duty.
Mm-hmm.
With nurses, with RNs and teachers, right? RNs and teachers have a way out of the country. Police officers, that's it. Their skills can't be transferred to another country and become a police officer in another country like that easily. But the nurses, they can. They're skilled. They're
transferable.
Transferable. But policeman, they're stuck right there.
Are we okay? We're on. Oh, Leah, change the logo. The Leah Gillen show. I'm looking on YouTube, people. No comments.
Okay,
no comments.
You need to be showing us your remarks and your comments. So the British Virgin Island, it seems as if they'll probably go back under to direct UK.
That was funny. I've seen so many things in my lifetime. That is so funny.
It all. The war with the Ukraine and Russia continues.
Can you believe it?
Yes. War continues.
Okay, some comments. Lorna said, Angela said, nicely put, Dr. Diana. Lorna said, Diana, they should not trap us. We have no plans to buy, sell, or transport drugs. We don't have the mindset to do that. Yvette said, exactly. Peter said, good morning, everyone. Michael said, Jamaica athlete broke her leg at Penn Relays. Hopefully she has medical coverage. Yes, the ministry said they gave all of the athletes medical insurance, so she should be getting the best care. Yvette said she has, I read it this morning. Millicent said they choose the job though. Not really, they don't really have an option really. What much job opportunities in Jamaica? VM said the news came out where the money was not even counted. This is the reason for the wrong amounts. That is what I said. The poor officer see money. I said, Jesus Christ, I used to see so much money. That looked like 75 million.
And somebody said, how much you say it is?
And somebody take it and a reporter take it and
I wrote with it.
That's how we are reporting things now, right?
Yes.
We are the first to report that $75 million worth of cash in. Right? That's what it is, right?
No check.
So there's another piece now that is a little bit funny, and it's a story coming out from Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil. And it is about field producer found while searching for a guest online fiancé in Jamaica. So Lois says that her online fiancé, Fred Adler, has been stranded overseas with no access to his personal finances and no means of getting home to the United States. She says that shortly after they met on a dating site called Fred, told her he was stuck in Africa. She says she sent him $300 to book passage on a boat to Jamaica. But ever since he arrived in Kingston, he has been plagued with problems. including being repeatedly robbed, kidnapped by gangsters.
That sounds like one of the phishing email that sounds like one of the phishing emails that we get about, oh, I'm stranded. I get it from people's email that's been hacked. So so she's responding to a hacked email.
Her
No,
fiance.
But it's her fiance. She met him on a site and she's been sending him money. So they did an investigation, and when they investigated the area in Kingston where he claims to be staying, there's no sign of him and nobody knows him. They even sent somebody down to the shop that he says that he's next to the shop. No such shop exists in no such place. It's something on TV, Dr. Phil. You know, no Dr. Phil.
Let me tell you this. I mean, there are people and there are people. There are fools and there are fools, and there are idiots and there are idiots. And to me, I don't even, to be honest with you, that's not even something that I even want to. I mean, to me, that's a waste of time. You don't, as a person, not whether you're smart or not, you don't just take up your money and send to somebody that you meet online. Or you meet somebody online and it's your fiance. That makes any sense? You might met the person before. That don't make any sense.
Yeah, but you have to understand, sometimes people are lonely and going through a lot. And when they meet somebody online that could tell them whatever. She's not complaining. I guess her family want to expose her, let her see the light. Like,
I think it is more than
come on,
that.
now you're sending money.
I
But
think
the funny thing,
go ahead.
yeah.
Sorry.
Now I was gonna say the funny thing is that they said with these scams, mostly a lot of professionals are the ones mainly being scammed, like lawyers, doctors, some politician, pastors. Not like little idiot people. Sometimes these are people we think have common sense that are being scammed. But I want to do it because when it comes to money, but you know, to each his own.
I think, go ahead, Diana.
No, I think too that it's an example, it's an out there example for people that scamming don't come in the typical form of you have won a car and you need to send me $300. There are multiplicity of ways that people are being scammed.
Fish fry.
Yes, and we need to be aware of them and recognize them and look out for one another. So I'm happy that she's going public with this one to say that this man, 2 years she's supporting this man. 2 years.
Diana, that's the most ridiculous thing ever heard in my life. That don't even make no darn sense. You understand? That don't make no sense that you don't meet somebody, you have no clue where him live, you have no understanding of who he is, which part he come from, why him look like, because in the picture we see online might not be him, and you go and support somebody for 2 years, sending money for them. So
what is your fiance, Leo?
You don't meet the person yet. Oh, you're going to be his fiance. Finance. Oh, you have finance. Oh, okay. Finance. Okay.
You know, there's a show, several series on MTV. I don't know if you know it. What's it called? But it's like the same thing. Scenario. Like people are dating these other people. No, man, not fiance. I forgot the name of the show. But like it's a whole series. That one is crazy. But no, it's on MTV. But like it's like they're same thing. They're dating this person. They have another picture of somebody. Usually it is when they show up, it's like totally different. I forgot the name.
Are you serious? And they have that on a national...
Catfishing.
That's been happening. That's been happening for hundreds of years.
Yeah, catfishing.
When they had back in the day when in a cowboy show, black and white show, they used to have one thing we call mail order brides. And the men used to send back east and promise women a life on the west. And then tell them all kind of story. Send them picture out, tell them how much house them bill and blah, blah, blah. And when the woman come, then live in a one little shack.
Yeah.
You understand? And the woman now have to make a decision whether or not they want to stay in that shack or go back 3,000 miles east because they don't know where to stay. It's the same thing. This is just on computer. I don't understand. You must be completely detached from life and media and social media if you don't understand, say you get hooked. Boom! Like a sprat. Not sprat, but snapper. That makes no sense to me. It don't make no sense at all to me. So that story that to me is foolish. Dr.
No, it's
Phil.
not
I-
foolish, Leo.
it happened a lot, Leo. People are, especially with COVID, a lot of people are in need. A lot of people are lonely. I don't know. I
Um,
feel it for her.
oh,
She
You think
need
that they
love.
do it because they're lonely, Michelle, because they're
I
looking
think
for
so. Then I
affection?
must train. I have no friend and lonely. Make it do it.
Michelle and Diana,
And I
I
have
am
nobody
going to
to chat
send
to.
an email to you both. I'll see if I can hook you guys. All
You
right?
can't catch me.
Oh, you mean me can't catch you?
When it come to money, me not have money for the way, so you can't catch.
I can't catch you.
Now when me have my mother at Jamaica, no.
You can always send me there because I don't have no money to send that way. So that's why it wouldn't work.
Why can't
Sorry.
people just pretend that they don't have it? See?
No, but I don't have no money to send. I don't have no money to send.
You know what the biggest scam? The whole fish fry.
So there's a scam with fish fry.
People that do the fish fry and you can't get your fish. I've never heard somebody say they get the fish.
I don't
a fish-
understand.
Like they have usually they have this fundraising within Jamaica. Other places, like let's say they have a fish fry, but you have to buy the ticket early, right? And the day of the fish fry, you're supposed to get your fish
Right.
with whatever. You pay for it, but the day of, they never have the fish. Like the fish always finish, but they already get the money already. So they don't care.
Oh,
So let me say the
okay.
biggest scam.
That's easy to sue. Right?
Yeah,
That's
you
easy to
can't
sue.
find them.
You can find them easily.
Yeah, but
right?
people just say, "Oh, I feel on a good cause." So,
Yeah.
oh well, like in a whatever. But that biggest scam. But Dorrit said it's catfishing, and yeah, catfish is your name. Hope said catfish. Anita said, "Look, Leo, love connection is blind, but lonely women are taken for a ride." Okay, that's what she's telling you. When they're lonely.
One thing
When
about that
I
for a minute.
Lorna
One thing
said,
about that for a minute. Love connection is blind.
but
What that
lonely
mean?
woman, love is
What that
blind, right?
The connection is blind.
Yeah.
So you're saying that I
not
will
ignore,
fall
like,
in love
everything.
with you online, even though I don't know you. All you have to do is say the right things to me, right? That's what it means, right?
Yeah.
But what the
Yeah.
last sentence? What the last sentence?
But lonely women are taken for a ride. I guess it should be and lonely women are
Okay.
taken for a ride.
Yes, lonely women are taken for a ride because they're desperate for some affection.
Yeah.
It comes in whatever shape or form. They think that is it. Is it?
Yeah, like somebody said, "Good morning. How is your morning?" And you say, "Oh, it was good." And you say, "All right, I had a bad day at work." You're listening, and they're like, "Okay, I love you. Be my fiance."
I'd like you to be my fiance. Send me some money, right? Yeah. Do you think that these women know the risk that they're taking?
Yeah, some of them not care. How when I hear this story.
So I don't want them to come complain to me, say somebody take their money. You
I
understand?
don't think that they know that they're walking into an entrapment.
But some of them are willfully blind. Like they could tell, like signs are there. All right, imagine somebody said they kidnapped me and I need a boat to go to Jamaica.
Boat.
Then they kidnap you and get to Jamaica.
Boat.
Then you're homeless and people keep robbing you. Like, why people keep robbing you?
Because
If you're homeless, why are they robbing and kidnapping you? Like, it never make any sense, but she love. Lorna said, when I hear about the salary in Jamaica now, it sounds enough. I remember when I started as a civil servant at Ministry of Social Security in 1974, I earned $120 monthly. It was enough to pay my bills. Lord, money have no use. Inflation multiply over and over. Sandra said, poor lady is being scammed. Jude said, these scams have been around for some time now. Leo, we can't hear it in the coffee mode.
Oh, I'm on the phone.
Hey, poor lady is being scammed. Jude said, these scams have been around for some time now. She must have been very uninformed or unexposed. Dorrit say, Leo, people are lonely and vulnerable. Sandra said, I want half of my fish and you get half of the money. Paulette said it happens to men too. Yeah, Paulette said it happens to men too. Peter said, Peter said these people are detached from reality and are often going through depression and other mental illnesses. There's no way I would be sending my money to someone I have never laid my eyes on. Shaking my head. VM said they need to get involved in some volunteer work and stop talking about being lonely. Yeah, you have to get busy.
I totally agree with you, VM. I totally agree with you. There's no reason in today's day that someone, if we're talking about someone who's 80 years old, 85 years old, and they're vulnerable and stuff, I understand. I understand. But we're talking about a 40 or 45-year-old person here who's in the swing of their lives, the most active part of their life. And you want to tell me that somebody will catch you like a fish? Something wrong with that.
But them lonely, and what is driving them is that emotion of need.
Gabar.
They don't remember Maslow's hierarchy speaks about the basic needs, and if it is that they're not meeting that basic need of belonging, of feeling.
What is the basic need? What is the basic need? Food,
of belonging, to belong. So that's
like
4 or 5 up the ladder, or 5 or 6.
There's a basic need to feel like you belong and you're being loved, and so they're seeking that.
Oh, okay.
Cheryl said, getting involved with a healthy community will help people with loneliness.
Thank you very much. God church.
Why Leah Ruff? God
bar. There are so many bars around where you can go sit down and just talk to the bartender.
But remember that we had COVID and a lot of them were closed, so she never had nothing but the internet to be on.
But listen, let me not put this into my own perspective.
All right, let us change it. And
okay, just say our bingo hall, number 30 in the line.
The casino always open. Yeah?
Yes, but you need lots of money to go to the casino.
Does she have a lot of money? She has Senegal, Jamaica, or Africa. She have a lot of goddamn money. Okay? So now.
All right. One other news item that really get my gall. And it says, free education, question sign, nonsense. And this is a report in today's Observer. Yes. Independent public policy think tank, Caribbean Policy Research Institute, otherwise called CAPRI, has scoffed at suggestions that the government fully fund tertiary education here, proposing instead an income contingent loan model that would even have a built-in mechanism for collecting from beneficiaries who migrate, leaving their guarantors holding the bag. The recommendation of a student loan scheme in which the repayment is based on how much income a graduate earns is the most important recommendation in the study, according to CAPRI. The title of it is The Hard Choices for Financing University Education. According to CAPRI, the legacy of the Jamaican sense of entitlement to the government paying for their education needs to stop. A university education insisting should be paid by the individual benefiting from it. Okay. The think tank says under the scheme, students would choose between paying their tuition upfront or deferring payments. The debt would be recorded and linked to a TRN number. When the student graduates or any other reason cease studying, they would start making contributions contingent on their income. The contribution would be collected by employers based on the borrower's income, just like income tax or any other social contribution.
That's a whole lot of mouth stuff going on there.
Yeah, but you're not similar to the US.
No, you don't automatically go to somebody's paycheck and take out their money and say you're paying back your student loan. They have to make that decision themselves.
Yeah.
They can't go to somebody's pay and take out. But I have to say this, that I am a recipient of free education in Jamaica. Back in the days when I was going to primary, high school, and college in Jamaica, I paid $200, they call it caution fee to enter college. $200. And it was for books. There was nothing else. We get full food, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and bun snack at 6 o'clock in the evening. And it was completely free education. Now, I must tell you that if it weren't for that, I don't know that I would have been going to college. That would not have been an option for me.
Right.
And so, kudos to the government that came up with that during my time, because I know that after I left Jamaica, it changed completely.
Yes. So, Leo, that's interesting that you have said so. And that was when it was really free education. But against the existing conditions now, where all university students are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars towards a subsidized education offering. They're not getting a free education. They have to pay
Who said anything about free education now?
They have to pay a portion of their fees. So for Capri to suggest that there is free education is really disingenuous.
I did hear that. I wasn't so sure that I heard it right. Full we call it free education. What was the term?
Well, they're suggesting that people are getting education free, but when
you're here in Jamaica,
yes, in Jamaica, now, so it's saying that free education need to
now,
and yes, and people need to pay for it. But people are already paying for it, and people are having severe challenge paying for what they.
But I don't understand. Where in Jamaica we have free education?
Maybe the $200 what you pay in a year time, I guess it reached to this millions of dollars. So
I don't know what they're talking about. What is Capri saying about free education? Where is that in Jamaica?
I really want to have a conversation with Capri about this because I don't see it.
Read the beginning.
Are the books?
Read the beginning again. I want to make sure that I got it right.
Oh gosh.
That make no sense.
Scoffed at suggestion that this government fully fund tertiary education. So they're not fully funded. They're scoffing at that, but they're suggesting that there is a legacy of Jamaican sense of entitlement to the government paying for their education, and that we need to stop that the government ought not to be paying any portion. In fact, what Capri suggested is that the money that is going to universities such as UWI and UTech, because the others don't get that kind of a money, should go for research purposes. So it should be geared at graduate level, and people should pay the full money and tack it onto your tiering. So which is why all these automation of numbers and numbers and numbers is critical. But you can't dip into people's to pay back.
All right. So let me clarify. Just to clarify before. So they're saying that the funds that UWI gets, that the government gives them money, right? That the money should not go to like UWI.
No, the money must go to
No. As far as what I gather is that the government is paying in their minds, in their thoughts, in their books, fully funded education for students. But the school is also charging the students other money to go to school.
No, Leo. The government is not paying full tuition.
What is it? Why would you say they scoff at the government?
They're scoffing at the idea that people are saying that the government should be
okay. So it's a suggestion that the government
suggestion out there, Okay, all right.
Saying that the people, no student at any university benefits from a full tuition. They get a subsidized tuition rate that they pay, but even that is unaffordable in our current environment. And that money goes to the university.
It's still confusing me there when you say no student gets full funded.
No student arts. Let us look at medicine. They have a scheme where a student at UWI doing medicine can benefit from what is called an 80-20 relationship, where the government pays 80% of the fees and the student pays 20%. They have a very few such scholarships available. And
it's not a general thing. It's not 80% or 90% of students are doing it. Right?
No.
My thing is this: if we are confused by that study, it means they need to go back to the drawing board and sort it out. Because if we confuse, everybody else go confused. Because it just not.
All right. And
I like the fact that you say in your time, the government. Yeah, one thing, I like that you said in your time, the government offered free education. I guess based on the circumstances in your time. Yes. So why can't the government look at what's happening now and make a decision on what's best for, the citizens now? Because if no people can't afford it.
Free education, period. It was free
because.
But now you're suggesting instead that they look and do a needs assessment and determine, but who going to determine that? Because this is Jamaica we're talking about. Who going to determine that I and my child don't qualify?
Personally, I don't think that's even going to happen. They're not going to look at no needs assessment and say, okay, we will pay this. They're not going to do that. They're going to, because that's a perennial expense that they're not going to want to fund.
So who fund Capri?
Huh?
Who fund Capri? The one
it's grants. I think they get grants
from the government.
Well, wherever the grants come from. Yeah, okay. USAID
kind of maybe influence their decision.
But no, I think they're kind of independent. I'll follow them. Not that I agree with some of their findings, right? But I get the sense that they're independent thinkers. But I don't agree with them. I'm it's hard to say, because how do you live in Jamaica, live in the country, and be guaranteed an education if your parents don't have it, living day to day, right? Me understand, listen, I'm driving on the highway in Jamaica, and I see some car pass me sometime. I wouldn't even dream of having those cars, because I'm sure that they're like $500,000, $1 million cars, and them race on that highway, the north-south highway. When them pass me sometime, you come like my little car run off the road, right? So, and I understand that those kids, because I know that they're like 20, 21 who are driving those cars, are going to get fully funded education because their parents have it. But what about kids like me who grew up at Rockabess, with my mother in a Andumouth, or Miss Terry, or Miss
teacher and policeman.
The policeman with $80,000 and him have 4 picnic. How him send them to college if them can't do something else about going to college? That ain't gonna happen. How do you do that? Get the best out of your country, the best brains, best minds out of your country with no money. Help me.
And what is so strange, like ever so often, like especially now I think because it's time to go to college, you see all these children posting like other countries offering them millions of dollars to offer them free education to relocate, and they're going away, and most of them not coming back to Jamaica. So in order to maybe start, we have a guest. Maybe they need to work on
you should finish your comments. He's listening to you. So yes,
and I want to read this final part about it. UII is the premier provider of tertiary education in Jamaica. The school, which is presently funded in part by tuition fees and a direct grant from the government, is, however, facing shortfalls in funding that threatens its viability as an institution. According to Capri, the government's attempt to offer citizens free education from a period beginning in 1973 left the university in a paralyzed financial state, which has continued for decades. Under the regime, the government paid not only tuition, but living expenses. Look at this final sentence, hear me. There was a huge increase in the enrollment numbers by 429%.
It makes sense.
No, but look at it. If you tell me in your study that there was a huge increase in the number of people seeking to be educated at the tertiary level by over 400%, is that a bad thing?
No, it's not bad. It's actually a good thing. It's giving people opportunity. Let's stop for a minute and welcome our guest this morning. Mr. Joseph Patterson. It's good to see me, hear about your long time, like 4 years ago. And I've watched you, I've followed you, and I know that these other two ladies, by the way, Dr. Diana Davis-Smith in the blue, and attorney Michelle Fanger, she live up Jacksonville somewhere. We're welcome you, and glad to have you. I know that we're gonna have some serious conversation here this morning.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's my pleasure, and I'm always, open to meeting new friends and connecting with more Jamaicans.
All right.
Great. Welcome, Mr. Patterson. Joseph. They call you Joe?
Not really, but it's okay if you call me Joe. I don't mind.
What you grew up, when you're growing up, what I used to call you?
Oh, well, my childhood name is in the home circle was Christopher. Yes. I don't know why. you know. And
Jamaicans.
at school, I was called a number of names. One of them was nerd. One of them was prime minister. One of them was brainy smurf. So pick your choice.
Chris. You can call it Joe in here for all intent and purpose. Thanks for coming on to the show, and we're looking forward to this.
Well, it's good to have you. The first question, instead of me taking a bio and read it and the ladies read the bio, we want to know who is Joseph Patterson. So you have the floor to tell us exactly who you are so that we can, pick you apart.
All right. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard, because I'd rather you read a bio. But let me begin by saying that I was born in Jamaica, 1971, August 2nd. So you can guess my age. I'm 51 this year. I was born to a single mother of 3 at the time, Ruth Williams, in downtown Kingston, a place called Blake Road. We lived in a 1-bedroom home, 12 by 12, no indoor kitchen or indoor bathroom. So you know how the thing's set already. And I went to Don Robin Primary School. And from there, having failed the common entrance twice, I went on to Marvelly All Age for a brief stint. And at which point I ran away from home to live with my father, who was far more affluent than my mother. So I wrote her a letter and told her at 11 years old that I think she has done as much as she can do. And it's time for my father to pick up the pieces from there. So I went to live with him. He had a lovely home, 3 bedrooms at the time, a lovely wife, 2 stepchildren, 3 children, but 2 of them were his stepchildren, satellite dish, indoor bathroom, all the nice things, front lawn, backyard, fish tank in the back, all the nice things. But I discovered very soon that all that glitters is not gold. And so my father was more interested in me as a child laborer than in, me being treated like, the regular side of the family. In any event, my stepmother said to him that, obviously this young man can't do much with his brain. So we need to send him to a school where he can do something with his hand. So I ended up at Spanish Town Secondary, where you send the rejects of society normally from an academic standpoint. And so at Spanish Town Secondary, the light bulbs kind of went off. I thought to myself, if that is the impression of me, maybe I should do something about it. So I went on a mission to transform Spanish Town Secondary into what I thought would be a more traditional high school. So I wanted them to be involved in things. I created the science club, created the drama club, created the quiz team, the school challenge quiz team. We entered for the first time and won. I got involved in the debating society and debated, St. Catherine High School, St. Diego, because it was in that area, Jonathan Grant and Jose Martin, all that. So I really got the school involved in the things that were about traditional high school. By the time I finished there, I managed to pass a few subjects, which was unheard of because normally those students don't pass CXC. So I passed a few subjects there. I was head boy, president of the student council. When I was deputy head boy the year before is when I did the school challenge quiz, which meant I was in grade 10, which is unusual. So in grade 10, we entered and we won. We had 3 grade 10 students and 1 grade 9 student because the upper school wasn't interested. They were already gone mentally. But I was able to reorient those in that school system and brought us to a different level. So we had the highest passes in all the subjects that year, that 2-year period when I did the transformation, or 3 years. From there, I was very fortunate to get a scholarship to go to St. Andrew Technical High School for another 2 years. On my way out of Spanish Town Secondary, Miss Henry said to me, you know what, Joseph, you think you're so bright, but it's because you're there amongst these dumb students. Now you're going to go to a real bright school. And when you go there, so you're going to see how not so bright you are. So again, the light bulb went on and I thought to myself, maybe she could be right or she could be wrong. Let me see if I can prove it out. So I went to St. Andrew Technical High School. I was shocked to find out that they have 2 systems. They have a trade system where you send those who kind of have some hope and you take from the lower that school. So I was in the trade section, and then on the other side now, which is called technical, you have the real bright pick to them, the one them who really pass, technical entrance to come here. So I was disappointed because I thought I was going to be able to prove myself over there. So in my first morning of school, I was in E3-1, Electronics 1. The physics teacher didn't show up. And so I took it upon myself to call the class to order, assign them work from the Abbott physics textbook, and started teaching and grading and sending in their work. And so Mr. Roden spot me. He was the head of the department, the head of that section. He said, come here, Mr. Patterson. Who you think you be? Who give you permission to be teaching class and whatever? I said, well, Mr. Roden, boy, I'm a teacher and show up in us, so I figure I might organize. And he said, pack up your bag. And he sent me up to Principal Isaac Henry, who is the most revered principal in the technical school industry at the time. And Mr. Henry with me. And he said, Mr. Patterson, tomorrow morning, take your bag and go over technical. So from there, after spending about a little bit less than 3 months over on the trade side, I was transferred to now where the bright children are. I was transferred at a time when they were about to do their mid-term exam or something like that. And the teacher said to me, Joseph, you don't have to participate. We know you're not ready. You won't be able to truly, match these children. I said, no, man, I still want to do it. So I borrowed books and take down notes. And in 2 weeks, I sat all the exam with all the students. I was first in every single subject except mechanical technology and technical drawing, right across the board. And so I became head boy. I became president of the student council, president of the Key Club, VP of finance for junior achievement, literary club editor, article writing gold medalist for the school with the Gleaner Company, whatever stuff. And so I discovered that I like the transformation business. I like making something out of nothing. I like to create, make the impossible possible. And so from there, I got a full scholarship to UTech, where I studied engineering. And from there, I went on to Canada. And from there, I went into government in Canada, director of finance, director of financial reporting and control for one of the territories. And then I'm back in Jamaica, 2011, brought my whole family back here and start the process of seeing how I can reverse the trend of a declining nation. Long story short.
I enjoy that story.
Interesting.
Sorry, what was that?
Interesting. I like, like against all odds, you were able to accomplish what you did. I have a few questions, if you don't mind.
Right.
The first one I have is, do you think, I'm jumping in, you're a politician, so you can handle all of this. But do you think Jamaica have an appetite for third parties, considering how many we have had in the past that have failed?
Well, first of all, I mean, I'm technically a politician by definition, but I'm not a politician in terms of competencies. I have no real political experience running for office and that kind of stuff. And nor do I like it, by the way. But to answer your question more specifically, the appetite in Jamaica is not so much for a third party or not a third party. The appetite in Jamaica is for good governance. And Jamaica has found itself in a bit of a trap. And the trap goes something like this. The people have been cultured not to get involved in politics at the mechanical level, meaning organizing politically and funding their own political party. They're used to somebody else funding the operation. They're used to the entertainment being put on for them. And then all they have to do is go out and vote. They don't have to do anything else. The UIC takes a different tact. We have gotten into the communities, talk with the people and say, no, you need to own the process. You need to fund the process. They need to vote in the process. And so we're re-educating the nation away from a failed model, a model where the private sector organization of Jamaica has a group of people that we call the oligarchs or the elites. And they fund two parties, which means they're funding two sides of the same coin. And they then, by their financial power, dictates who is nominated for us. And we now simply vote for one or the other, not realizing that no matter what we do, we're still voting for the elites of the PSOJ. We're not really voting for any real change. The UIC is bringing this consciousness to the people and will, by extension, break the gridlock by converting the minds of the people to realize how they have been duped for 78 years and why we need to change that now if we want a new and better Jamaica.
You know,
Um,
I appreciate that, but let's put things into perspective before we jump into anything else. Because you said the UIC, but I don't think most of
right.
us in the diaspora understands what the UIC is, what it stands for, and its
Right.
principles. So could you go ahead and help us there?
No, but
Sure.
before he
Yeah, the
does,
mandate.
Joseph, just
Yeah.
allow me 1 minute. I want
Yeah.
to indicate what I have recognized, that you're a change agent even from age 11. Because
Yes.
for you at 11 years old to have the audacity to tell your mother, say you're gone, gone to your
I said
father's
letter.
yard,
Yeah.
is bright beyond. How did
Yes.
she handle that?
Yes.
She was very disturbed. She came, she came to my father's house, and my father and her wasn't on good terms. You know, they
Yes.
were away from each other for years. I only met my father at age 9, so I didn't know him from 0 to 9. And he showed up one day and took me to Shoppers Fair and bought me a football and some clothes and stuff, and that's how I got to know him. Then I started to visit the family every other weekend or so and spend the weekend with them. So I got to see what was going on. And my mother, therefore, came to the house and him tell her off good and proper. I mean, I was so embarrassed as a child the way my father dealt with my mother.
Mhm.
But my mother did something very unique. She withdrew without much of a fuss, and she continued now to find ways to contact her son through school, and she sent me lunch money and bus fare every day the moment she realized that my father wasn't quite keeping up his end of the bargain.
That's
She was
good.
a phenomenal mother, and I'm going to talk about her more later.
Yeah,
But
man.
she taught me some key lessons. She never gave up on the situation, but she handled it in such a way that it didn't turn out too badly for me in the process, and I respected
Thank
her
you.
for
I
that.
really like this conversation. You also said that you failed the common entrance twice,
Yes, yes.
which is something that's familiar to me, right? Because I failed that twice too. I
Oh,
failed
okay.
the
Well,
common entrance, and I also failed the technical school.
me too.
Right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. And so I like the fact that you have faced those challenges. You understand what it means to move from one area of nothingness into something where you are now. And I love the fact that you are fighting, you're a fighter, because
Yeah, man.
you showed that you have gone into a situation, a school like Spanish Town, and you say, boy, I'm gonna like that situation, let me change it. Boom, you did all that you could. You went into the school challenge quiz and did phenomenally well. Those things are important in building character, building who you are today. How has the fact that you did not pass those common entrance, how did that impact you and your
And the technical school
and the
exam.
technical school? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, for first of all, when you fail, you feel like a failure. Okay, so when I failed the common entrance the second time, and I was about to leave Dunrobin Primary, there's a teacher there, and teachers are very important. Teachers are critical. Miss Little, her name was. Nice, round lady, beautiful black woman, strong black woman. And she said to me, she said, Joseph Patterson, you failed these 2 exams, but don't give up because you are going to pass bigger and better exam than this. This is not the end of Joseph Patterson. This is just the beginning. And that is what kept me because I wanted to go to Calabar so bad or KC. I was like, my God. And I look in the paper for my name and in the data. But guess what? I was having wishful thinking because in the system that we were in, number one, my mother wasn't the right mother. My address wasn't the right address. And worse than that, we couldn't find money for extra lessons. And in the Jamaica that I grew up in, if you don't go to extra lessons, you are not going to pass common entrance. Hardly likely. Now watch me carefully, because the way the system works, the teacher make up our salary from private lesson. Understand? So she not gonna give you
subsidizing them income.
exactly. So it was in her vested interest to make sure that those who come to private lesson pass common entrance because now she have credits. Parents say, you mustn't get picnic today, so because them going past common entrance. So I had little or no chance. Now there's some who are bright. You have some bright kids who they might not need a private lesson. But for average people like me, I would have needed private lesson because in my household, my mother had no time to even check my lessons. She's working. I used to follow my mother. She was crash program worker. She swept street and all that kind of stuff, right? And she worked in a factory when she get a job. On Saturdays, I followed my mother up into the hills, cherry gardens and stuff, to go wash people dirty clothes and clean their house and stuff like that. And then after that, on Sunday night, Saturday night, she make ginger beer and fry sprat and make blue draws to sell Sunday morning to the church people and where I go to church. You understand me? So my mother had no time to pay attention to my education. She loved me dearly. She loved all of us, me and my brother and sister, they're older than me. And she wanted the best for us. She sent us to school. She made sure we get food and whatever. But she had no time to do what you needed from a parent, to pay attention to your schooling, to be able to help you with your math problems, to be able to help you with your English and so on. If it wasn't for my grandmother, I wouldn't learn to read. When I got to live with my grandmother on summers, she sit me down, you will not get the comic strip unless you read the headline of the paper. And so that's why at 3 years old, I was already a reader because of my grandmother. You see, women are powerful influence. When men can walk away from their responsibilities, I noticed something. The woman then stick to it. And even if they don't know what to do, they're going to do what they can do.
I think I don't want to accept that right here on this particular show. You can say that to me after the show, okay?
No, Joseph, Michelle and I deeply appreciate your comment and we understand fully. But I'm going to go back to Michelle. Was leaning towards political questions. Define for and Leo as well to define the organization.
Sure.
We can.
So the UIC is quite unique. If you look back at the history of Jamaica, all third parties have some commonalities. The last one that most of you know about would be the NDM, which was the most apparently successful third party at the time. What people don't realize is that the NDM was not really a third party. The NDM was a breakaway from the GLP. And that breakaway brought with it some key things. Brought private sector funding, and it also brought the name recognition of Bruce Golden, which gave it a big leg up. For the first time since Marcus Garvey's People Political Party back in the 1930s, Jamaica now has a grassroots movement, a political party, which is not coming from the establishment. There's no big name person. Joseph Patterson is unknown, irrelevant, insignificant to the wider society. I am not any of the elite structures. So the UIC is coming purely from the bottom up as opposed to from some kind of top-down solution. The JLP and the PNP, for example, when they were formed by people of high color, very closer to white than black, which gave them a leg up. Secondarily, the colonial masters greatly respected and accommodated them, and you see that throughout the entire process. They were fully accommodated as a party which the colonial establishment felt they could live with. This is okay. And so they colluded with them to get rid of the only other true grassroots party, which was the Marcus Garvey People's Political Party in the 1930s. They also colluded with them to get rid of Marcus Garvey from Jamaica. So the UIC now, what defines us is that we are really coming from the grassroots of Marcus Garvey. And we have three words, which is important to us in our name. United, because we want to unite the people. Independence, because we want to get the people to be independent thinkers and not tribal thinkers. Think independently, not based on party. And we have a Congress, not a party or a parliament, because we do not believe in dividing our people. No great nation rose up on division. It's only after they became great that they put on top of it partisan politics so that they could control the people. Partisan politics is a controlling mechanism. It's not a liberating mechanism. And so the UIC is about creating a non-partisan, constitutional republic of Jamaica. Why republic? Because republic means protecting the individual sovereignty of every citizen, even from government. So the role of government for the UIC is to protect your individual rights. And the role of the Constitution now will be to protect you from government. So in summary, the UIC begins with this vision. Our vision is to create a Jamaica that brings out the best in all its people. Our mission is to create a non-partisan constitutional republic that will protect the life, liberty, and property rights of all Jamaicans equally, so they can live in a safe, clean, and orderly society where everyone can enjoy equal opportunities, equal rights, and equal justice. And so that is what characterizes the United Independence Congress of Jamaica.
United Independent
Well,
Congress.
I think Michelle has a
Okay, that's
question.
I have a question. It was interesting listening to what you're saying, and I'm very into politics and what politicians say. And I'm more of like, you shouldn't like really vote because you're aligned just to a party. Vote on the issues, vote on what matters and whatever. You mentioned earlier that both parties, JLP and PNP, like have an oligarchy that supports them. How is your, hopefully I'm not overstepping, how is your party being funded, especially to run such a massive campaign against these two parties? Do you have people, you know, like individuals funding, or how are you funded?
Very good. Our party is based entirely on small donor base. We want to have the average Jamaican funding the party. And so right now, for example, in the last several years, we were funded by some 1,000 Jamaicans, giving anywhere from 10 to 25 to 50 US dollar equivalent every month. So that's how we're funded. And so every year our base keeps expanding, more and more Jamaicans, Canada, the US, England, Africa, Brazil, Germany, Jamaicans, and right here at home, those are the people funding us. And we want to keep it that way. We do not take money from big donors who want to change the agenda or influence the agenda of the movement.
Okay, good answer. My question, I want to go back to a previous comment that you made about republic.
Yes.
Our constitution right now, Jamaica's constitution, is built on a Westminster model.
Okay.
That with a certain type of construct, with a type of colonial construct. And yes. I wonder, how would you be transitioning that Westminster model into a republic? What are your thoughts?
Wonderful. There? So we first of all, we're not going to change the so-called constitution. We're going to replace it. There's nothing to change in it. It is a bad constitution. It is a
yeah, I've never heard anybody say that before.
Yeah.
So we're not going to even try to tinker with it. First and foremost, the so-called constitution that we have now does one primary injustice to the Jamaican people. First of all, it puts the Queen of England as the sovereign over the people of Jamaica. That there by itself is denigrating, disrespectful, and a dishonor to the people of Jamaica. And we must immediately do away with any form of colonial construct of somebody else being sovereign other than you. So in the UIC model, every Jamaican is sovereign. So there's no sovereign over the Jamaican people. You're all sovereign. You're all an individual that should be respected and should be protected in terms of your rights. We go on from there now to create a new constitution that fixes many of the problems in the so-called old one. I'll give you a few. The current constitution allows the prime minister and the leader of the opposition to appoint senators. We will not do that. We're going to have 14 senators elected, one per parish, by the people of the parish. So instead of a prime minister and opposition leader being able to manipulate or otherwise influence senators, you're going to have senators who are independent and can think for themselves and defend the rights of their parish. In the current system, the people do not elect the head of state or the head of government. In our system, we have a president that is elected directly by the people, 100%. We'll have 3 vice presidents, 1 elected for each county. Again, these are independent thinkers coming into the executive branch of government. We're going to fully separate the executive branch of government from the Senate and from the legislature, from the House of Representatives. So you're going to have independently elected House of Representative members, independently elected senators, and an executive branch which is also equally independently elected. This is very important Now you're going to have proper checks and balances. But here's the clincher. Right now, to be a minister of government, you will be appointed from you'll be appointed from either the House of Representatives or from the Senate by the Prime Minister. So he then compromises the Senate and he compromises the House. In our new system, the executive branch, the president, 3 vice presidents, and 2 others, the general secretary and treasury secretary, they will nominate together the persons who are going to serve as ministers of government, but they cannot nominate a senator or a member of the House of Representatives. These must be qualified and competent subject matter experts that are nominated by this branch, then be publicly vetted by the Senate and elected by the House of Representatives to serve in the branch of the executive. They cannot be removed unless the same process is followed. This is going to ensure that we have a very strong executive branch that has the competencies and 2 very strong legislative branches that will have the independence needed to provide proper oversight and checks and balances. So we have
I hear you. I hear you. And you know, in principle, that is a system that I would accept, right? But my question is, how do you do that? Just drive in and change the constitution of the government. That it just it's not an easy thing just to say it. I mean, it's an easy thing to say, but how do you practically do it?
Yeah, nothing is simple and nothing is easy, especially talking about Jamaica. But let me break it down for you as to how we're going to do this. The UIC will be elected by the people of Jamaica based on what I just described. We're going to show the Jamaican people our manifesto, which we have done already, our plan for Jamaica. We're going to show them a new constitution that we're currently now still finishing up. We're going to go around the island with it. We're going to have town hall meetings with the Jamaican people. When they elect us, they're electing us to implement this new constitution. When we get into power, we're going to have our first referendum since the 1962 referendum. We're going to have the entire nation voting to completely discard and replace the colonial constitution with a new constitution. This will happen within our first year in office. So the first year is dedicated to now having the subsequent consultation. Now we have taxpayers' money to have even more consultation, the Diaspora, all the different stakeholder groups, and get all the different constitutional lawyers around the table, all the stuff that needs to be done in the first year of my administration. The following 4 years is to get all the regulations worked out. So while we're busy managing the economic affair, the education, the healthcare, and so on, we have simultaneously the work being done now to address all the regulations, have all the new subsequent changes in the ministries and structures. And that's going to happen over 4 years. And then at the end of 5 years, the Jamaican people go to the polls for the first time under the new constitution that allows them to elect a president, 3 vice presidents, their senators, and MPs who are truly representative of the people.
Okay, I have a quick question. Sorry, like you were hitting on it. Go ahead, Dr. Diana. It's just a follow-up on you.
As a follow-up, go ahead, Mish.
Yeah, because when you're talking a while ago of replacing the whole constitution, getting rid of what we're used to right now, I'm thinking, like, you know, when people say they're changing the government and all this, it's kind of like, what's going to happen? But do you think at this point where Jamaica is at, that is a sell for the people, the majority of Jamaicans, that you're going to replace this constitution that we have, what we're used to? This is time, we're going to do it. Do you think that's a big sell? And how, you said you're going around the island, but are people buying into this? And hopefully I'm not offending you.
So there are 2 parts to it. Let's deal with the first part about the sell to the Jamaican people. Right now, the Jamaican people are just trying to survive. Right now, it's bread and butter. It's waking up every morning knowing that the price of gas went up, the price of food is up, the price of water is up, the price. So right now, it's bread and butter. The people are not particularly interested in the details of what I just told you. What they do know in their gut, though, this is now in the DNA of our people. In their gut, they now know that what they have been following for 78 years is not working. In their gut, they now know that the PNP and the JLP is a sellout. In their gut, they know that they want something different. And that something happens to now be the UIC. Now, when I created the UIC 10 years ago, I started working on this. When I created the UIC, I knew that this day was going to come. The breaking point was going to come. What I feared is that a strongman, a dictatorship might arise. And so I planned to carefully build a model that would steer us away from that, protect our individual freedom, but give us a governance model that will bring economic prosperity and social prosperity to the people. So to your question, the Jamaican people don't care about the nuances. They just want change. Now, what we have done in our manifesto is not just talk about constitutional reform. We have some basic changes for them. For example, which the Prime Minister is now borrowing. They're borrowing heavily from our 10-point plan. Plan number one, we articulated back in 2001 that we must have a youth employment solution program. So the UIC designed a program called YES. The YES program ensures that every single graduate from high school who does not go on to college or to a trades program is immediately absorbed into an apprenticeship program where they are paid to work, okay, in a particular job, whether it's plumbing, carpentry, government, police, army, whatever it is. They're not allowed to be available to the gangs. They're immediately taken and they're into an apprenticeship program, immediate employment right away. The Prime Minister is now modifying that and trying to take that on. I would be very happy if he would do it truly, but I know it's only politics they're playing. But we're going to do it truly. Secondarily, we develop what we call work fear. Many Jamaicans, adult Jamaicans, are unemployed because they can't find work, and our country has not created an environment for work for them. We're going to bring a work fear program in where every Jamaican who is unemployed and whose children are in the school system will have an opportunity to work in either the agro sector, for example, or in the tourism sector. And we have a whole design for that, which I could get into. Then we have other policies and programs. For example, we're going to change the tax system. We're going to only have two taxes now. Tax number one, 10% on income from all sources, which will take care of the basic role of government. Tax number two, which is the GCT, which we're dedicating totally to poverty alleviation by making sure we have housing, education, nutrition, and healthcare for the poor so that they can actually now become a full part of the economic model and remove the scamming. We have a crime plan, which looks at a top-down structure that finds the criminals, the masterminds in government, in big business, because that's where they are.
Let me stop you there for a minute. Because I've been dying to get to this crime thing here, all right?
Dr. Diana, I have a question for Effer. Can she
Diana,
ask a question?
okay, go ahead.
Let me tell you, I have a question. I have a lot of comments. One, I want to ask you, where can we access your manifesto? One.
Right.
Two, why would you want to wait until the end of your 5-year period to then run an election? Why would you not run it in your third or your fourth year? Since you're making all these dramatic and drastic changes to Constitution, I don't believe that a lot of people are going to want to, the average Jamaican is not going to be inclined to approve the changing of a constitution. Once you say constitution, everybody, say, huh? You want to change it? You seem to want to
replace, not change.
Replace. Totally. Yes. Do you not believe that it would be a better approach to give it to us in bits and pieces rather than all
at once? Amendments along the way.
Well, no amendments. We're not doing amendments. A waste of time, actually. So your first question is, where can we find the manifesto? UICJamaica.com. The UICJamaica.com, the website.
UICJamaica.com. Spell out Jamaica or J-A?
Spelled out Jamaica. So UICJamaica.com. So all the information is there. Now, in terms of the approach, watch me carefully. What we have done, you see, I understand the intricacies of what we're talking about. There's a lot here to unpack. So what we're doing in the first year is where we're going to argue and cuss and discuss, so that when we finish, even though the UIC would have developed a model constitution and would have gone around the island and shared it prior to us becoming elected, we still want to make sure we bring everybody, well, not everybody, but as many people into the process as possible. So now that we're government, we'll spend a year where this is going to be distilled throughout the society. So town hall meetings in Geneva, in Milk River Bath, in Bluefields, in Central Kingston. We're going to have these discussions with the people so they understand. When we changed in 1962, the vast majority of Jamaicans had no say, no input, no understanding, no appreciation for what was being done to them. This time around, we're going to do it differently. We're going to educate the people about good governance, about what it means to have a government that serves you as opposed to a government that seems to be your master. So we're going to have that dialogue and that training in the first year. Remember, we're not stopping, we're still going to address all the other
Joseph, you have to follow me. Sorry, follow me. I don't see you making government because you're selling the idea of changing the constitution. I am concerned that when you come to my community to say to us, your intention is to change this constitution of Jamaica, that all of us say we're not going to vote because all our rights gone right there. How do you get me to vote for you with all of this in train?
Right, so you're not here, right? You're not in Jamaica here, so you're not seeing.
Yes,
come on,
she lives in Jamaica. We don't.
So hold on. Me go around now. Everybody, if you go and ask people, everybody wants what I'm talking about. Yes. I have not been. I've been to 13 of the 14 parishes so far. In the market, the people, and before me even open my mouth, they say, Mr. Patterson, me see upon UIC Liberty TV, may I watch you? The people are ready for this. They don't want a baby step. They want a true revolution in Jamaica. Now, there are two types of revolution. There's the ballot or the bullet. I am trying to steer Jamaicans to the ballot. Right now, the powers that be have been pushing Jamaica towards the bullet. You see what's going on. The crime level is getting worse, more gruesome. The scamming is getting more. Young people are walking out of school now. So, me not bother with that. So, I am trying to get us to a revolution, but one which is a safe, transparent, and productive revolution that leaves us intact.
Yeah, okay? But I just have one thing. I'm just like, I love talking. You're the politician I'm talking to. But earlier you said that Jamaicans don't care. Okay.
Let's catch up with some comments because they're running away.
Yeah, they're running away. But just one thing before we get, you just said earlier that Jamaican people don't really care about, creating, they only care about other little things. But isn't that not transparency? Because if you're saying that you're only going to allow them to focus on the things that they need while working, based on my understanding, working on creating this new constitution, is that transparency? Do you believe?
No, what I said before is that the first order of business for the day for every Jamaican, no matter what, survival. So they're trying to survive right now. What I have done and what the UIC has done is to marry the issues. So the people we're not wasting time talking about just constitution. We have married the constitution with their plights. So they're seeing the link. They're seeing how, for example, bad governance, which leads to corruption, leads to economic depression, right? So they're seeing the links with all of that. I'm not just a fool championing constitution, because they would never get it. All
right.
Yeah. That makes sense though.
I understand that. So
Althea McHale says that's a great story. A book should be written. I think it would benefit many. Carl says
it's so
refreshing to hear new blood and ideas in Jamaican politics. Althea says, hence the two parties by two cousins, that they were the upper echelon, I think, at that stage. Lorna Hamilton Blackwood said, Joseph, you did not fail. They did not have a space for you. Plans for you. You perform under pressure. As Anissa says, it was systematic racism. Paulette Chambers says, this is so true. Every teacher had private lessons for common entrance. Carl Anderson Dillon says, unfortunately, that's not unique to your mother when you spoke about the traits. All working and single mother faces these challenges also. Beverly Brown said you didn't fail, you had a setback which had set you up for a comeback. Lorna says, I'm so proud of you, excellent products of a single mom. These women did so much with so little. If they had the opportunity of good education, they would be finance minister of a few nations. Carl says, bravo, I will become a citizen just to vote for you. Millicent says, you have the ability to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, not an elitist. Sadly, many in Jamaica are very elitist. It might be difficult to get the needed support. Carl says the Constitution has to be replaced. Therein lies the danger. Millicent asks, why was it a danger? Carl says, somewhat following the American system. What about term limits? Are there term limits? That's a question for you, Joe, but you can take it when I finish here. George says, well done, my brother. I'm very proud that that's what good Jamaica is made of. And I run down to Sandy, who says that she had to leave. Johnny says, constitutions are not replaced. They are amended to address inequalities and better aligned laws and policies, representatives of the citizens, the nation, and its ability to thrive. That's a second question for you, replace versus an amendment. Well said, man, absolutely true. Joni says, what are amendments? A waste of time. Joni says, spending a year as time marches on, how will that work in order to keep competitive at home and abroad? And Carl says, Diana, William and Kate's visit to Jamaica was not well received. Why wouldn't Jamaicans want to get rid themselves of the system they believe is oppressive, right or wrong? But we'll get back to the other questions. Thanks.
All right. So me now, I'm having a little difficulty with the replacing too. So you know, but I already asked you that question, and you okay. So you mentioned 2001 as a time when you came up with your manifesto, your first manifesto. It means that you've been on the ballot for 20 years. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
No,
When was it?
So if I said 2001, I aired. I returned to Jamaica from Canada in 2011, and by 2012, I started putting the UIC together.
Together.
And it's not a matter of running for office, because running for office comes after. The most important thing is that you have done the work, the analysis, the structure, and so on. So my first time on the ballot as an independent was in 2016 when I ran for Northeast St. Elizabeth as an independent candidate. That was a very eye-opening experience. I got on-the-ground knowledge. I went through the full process, got beaten up here and there. I saw how the politics work. And I had to do that because you only can learn from experience. Failing the common entrance taught me things. Failing to win in Northeast St. Elizabeth taught me things. And it was a setup for a comeback, as one of your writers said. And so I took the time. In 2020, I did not participate in the election because I thought that the government was being disingenuous. They told us that we needed to stay home because of this crisis, pandemic, and then they called an election in the middle when they had more than 9 months to wait to better understand. So I advised the Prime Minister, I said, listen, don't call an election now. Instead, let us use the 9 months to better prepare Jamaicans to defend their lives and their livelihoods, as opposed to putting us at risk at this point. Of course, you wouldn't listen to me, but I stuck to my position, and the UIC did not participate in those elections.
Okay.
That's why, because I wanted to ask you what were the numbers in terms of, because I didn't realize that you didn't run in 2020, because I wanted to see what was 2016 versus 2020. You know, but there's no number.
They didn't participate in a matter of principle.
Yes.
I have a question. Like how you didn't participate then, what is it looking like now? Do you have representative in all parishes? Like if we have a local election? No.
Yes.
Do you have representative and ready to go?
Sure.
Okay.
We don't have all of them. For the local election, you need 228 representatives. We currently have about 105 in play. On the constituency level, you need 63. We have about 35 at the moment in play. So we're still recruiting. And even a person who has been confirmed can be replaced, because we're looking for the best person. Right, so we're very open to persons coming.
Michelle, are you ready to go home now? I mean, yes.
Why everybody has to go home? No. I have my child. But just one other quick question before we go. Do you have the constitution that you're proposing already drafted? Like the change?
We don't have it for public viewing yet.
Oh, okay.
Right, not for public viewing. We're going to release it not too long from now, but it's still.
Well, someone just said, and I tend to look at history. I don't remember any government, unless they change to communist, right? Communism that has replaced their constitution. And you can help me, right? Most times, like the United States, for example, put in amendments that are very, very strong, that that overpowers the original constitution. And so, how I mean, I asked this already, but I'm trying to understand.
Perplexed.
Yes, I'm kind of perplexed about
Let's talk about it.
replacing.
Let's talk about this carefully.
Yeah.
What we're talking here about is a rebirth of Jamaica. In fact, maybe the first birth of Jamaica. We're not talking about trying to get what we have now to work, because what we have now is not workable. And I wish I had the time to explain to you why it's not, the details of why it's not workable. And it's not working. It hasn't worked for 78 years. Now look at it carefully. The constitution we have now is an order in council. It's not even a constitution. It's not written by the Jamaican people for the Jamaican people to achieve the aspirations of the Jamaican people. It's a document given to those who first organized our so-called independent Jamaica by our colonial masters. Let me ask you a question. If you were robbed, beaten, abducted, and raped by somebody, and at the end of it, they say, here's a document by which to live your life, would you accept that? It makes no sense.
Well,
So
it depends.
Okay, so I think for a large majority of us, if we thought about it, we wouldn't want to accept it. But this is the UIC's position. That document does not represent Jamaica. That document does not represent the best thoughts of Jamaicans. We want to create a constitution that is truly us, that represents us. The American Constitution represents the thought process and the mindset of their founding fathers. So what we have today represents the mindset of our colonial masters. And that's why we have all the problems we have. For example, it sets up a corrupt structure whereby the leaders of both parties controls the Senate and the leader of the governing party controls the legislature. It does not allow for proper checks and balances, nor does it ensure that we have an administration that is going to be held accountable for the basic things like collecting your garbage, ensuring your police service, it's a force, but
making sure that guns are issued to the right persons.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
but
So 1 second, Michelle, we have to now step back as a people. That's what I'm asking us to do. Let's step back from this. If we try to amend this constitution, it's going to take us years, and we're going to amend one piece, but you leave so many bad pieces in place. We must, I submit to you, we must look at a Jamaican constitution for the people of Jamaica.
And we
That's
know
our
your submission,
Jamaica
but I
first.
will jump to comments. Joni says there's nothing wrong with radical change. However, Rome was not built in a day. Paulette Chamber says great. Ras Peter Miller says true leadership. We will remove the queen. Paulette says UIC sounds like a great plan, but there will be lots of obstacles. But Jamaica needs a radical change. Millicent Gardner person says America replaced the British monarchy. That in and of itself was the beginning of a new constitution. Joni says it sounds like the Stockholm syndrome. However, do we want to throw the proverbial baby out with the bathwater? Carl says an amendment adds or clarifies something, usually to appease modern day thinking. It adds teeth or substitute vagueness. Millicent says I absolutely agree. A new constitution is needed. Althea says, have you given time on other media to do what you are doing now?
Can I speak to that?
Given time?
Yeah, you could be. Yeah.
I want to speak to that. This is important. Since the UIC became Jamaica's third official party on the 2nd of December 2019. We went to the ECJ almost a year before that with a full document, our constitution, our registration documents, and they were shocked that anybody would come with this. Here's why they were shocked. They brought in new laws in 2017, 18, new laws that eliminated all third parties. Most Jamaicans don't know this. These new laws made every third party null and void, and only the two major parties qualified under the new laws to be a party. The UIC then pursued
that was the electoral office.
Yes. So we used to have what is called the Electoral Office of Jamaica, and then under the behest of their foreign masters, they created what is now called the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. which is stacked by partisans. Both sides have control of this body. Okay, if you look at go check it out on the website, you'll see it's peer party people running this electoral commission. They then passed laws that eliminated NDM, Marcus Garvey, PPP, and all the other fringe parties you know about. They were all completely disbanded by this new law. The UIC then challenged this, and for 10 months we battled them bitterly until they finally had to give in and gave us registration as the official third political party in Jamaica. So now we're official.
That's good.
Bravo. But there was another one.
All right, hold on. Before we go any further, we have 10 minutes. And I see that.
Oh my God, 10 minutes?
And there's questions and comments here.
I want to quickly answer this.
So did you get any audience?
Right?
Hold on,
We know the PSOJ and the two, I'm going to summarize it. The PSOJ leadership and the two parties have colluded to keep the UIC out of the media. So the only time you hear the UIC is if they have something negative they want to share. Outside of that, we're not given any airtime on any of the platforms. And so we have had to use social media, word of mouth, and in the streets.
So Joseph, it looked like you lost the whole of your PR money and your public announcement money you need to send to us, but they're probably going to lock we down too.
I have one last question, please. One last question, which I've seen since I was young. Usually you see after a while that these parties, the third parties, end up joining one of the major parties. Do you think that will ever happen? Let me know if that's in.
Never. The UIC is committed to changing the system that those two parties want to keep. The PSOJ want the system to remain, the GLP and PNP want the system to remain, and the colonial masters want the system to remain.
What is the criteria to consider to run as an MP in your party?
Say that again?
Judge is asking what is the criteria to be considered to run as an MP in your party?
Right. You have to subscribe. Qualify. You have to subscribe to the vision, mission, and values of the UIC and have the competences of somebody that can manage and lead a team of people.
Aye.
Like we can manage.
Leo.
No, I want to hear the comments. I want to hear the comments.
Is there any comments on YouTube? Because we had.
I didn't see any, but Johnny said, in order to lift and shift, are there things in place to ensure the transition does not affect the lives of the residents, government programs, industries of products and services at home and abroad, regionally and universally? That was a question.
Okay, well, in general, the UIC has an economic program that protects all Jamaicans by empowering them to do their best.
All right. And consistent with probably the last article I read, what about free education at tertiary level?
Right. So the UIC's model of education ensures that all the way up to a PhD, once you are competent, so it's a meritocracy. So once you have the capabilities, you'll be funded all the way through to a PhD. So there's no disruption. So the child is not held back because of his parents' economic means. If the parents can afford, they will pay a part of the fees. If they can't afford it, you're still going to get the full help to go all, because Jamaica needs to focus on building its human capital. That's critical.
Johnny says, what does all Jamaican
we have some comments. We have some comments on YouTube.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, we do?
Beverly Fraser says, very inspirational story. What is the focus of your third party? We already discussed that. Is it based on capitalism, socialism, mixture, or something else? Since you are so adept in at creating something new.
It's based on protecting individual liberty and promoting personal responsibility.
Okay.
Joseph,
Accountability.
Thanks for the recognition of the contribution of the women of the society. Great, I heard that part. And then we have a gentleman by the name of Keith Romans. We will use the community capital clubs. He also says this is not about ideology, more about pragmatism. And then he made a comment, come on, guys, USA replaced their constitution. All right. So,
okay.
Yes, Keith Romans is the gentleman who got me in touch with Joseph Patterson. And
okay.
So thanks.
Okay. Johnny said, what does competence entail? Joni
Oh,
maybe
well,
want to go run for office, so she wants to.
sure. I mean, basically, you must have demonstrated competence in managing a group of people at some level, whether it's in a charity or in a corporate entity. Demonstrate that you can
Leo,
organize, lead people.
Leo, Leo, Leo.
Come on, Leo. Come on, Ron. Come run, Leo.
Carl says Jamaican press isn't free. They're controlled by the government. It's a question, but it's probably rhetorical. VM Hessop says, if Dr. Diana, would you be interested, since we have a political party as well, you know, we have a political party in the metaverse. It's called Jamaica First. And I'm in fact the president of that party, and these are the members of the party. So VM Hessop is saying that since our party not going forward, whether or not, but I'd have to discuss it with the constituents.
Well, Dr. Diane, please tell your constituents I would be happy to have all of you join the UIC.
How are you engaging diaspora? Because most of the persons who are commenting right now are parts of are in the diaspora. How are you engaging the diaspora these days?
We have a huge following online. So, for example, you'll see UIC Liberty TV. You just go to UIC Liberty TV, you see the diaspora there. You would go on people like Jamaican Carlos, large following, and I'm normally there participating. You see, what's his name again? Wayne Lonesome. I've done quite a few interviews on his program. A lot of diaspora there. Unstoppable TV. So I'm very popular in the blogosphere, you know, the vlogosphere, I would say, you know, out there, because the traditional media doesn't want me, right? So I have to be
where you're wanted. Yeah.
I'm asking this question too, because someone just take 1 minute and answer this. Someone said to me this morning, history is not in your favor. What does that mean?
It simply means that based on the history of third parties, they expect us to fail. But based on my own personal history, that's not going to happen.
Failure is not an option.
Failure is not an option. No, I'm in it.
I love you because you failed the common entrance and you failed the common entrance. I love you because of that. And you went to a secondary school. I love that. That's me too. Okay, so I tell those stories all the time. So I'm glad here.
I'm glad they came on.
Yes.
I'm glad they came on because I get to hear a little more about, because I just heard about the UIC, so I got a little more insight.
One last story, one last 30-second story. When I went to St. Andrew Technical High School, we used to have a high failure rate of girls in math. So I created the math club, the first ever math club at the school. And we raised our pass rate from in the 30s up to the 60s and 70s during my tenure at the math club, because I believe that everybody can learn and everybody must learn, but the key thing is the method by which you get people to learn.
Joseph, I like that story, especially in light of the CXC results and the failing trends at Jamaica, you know, in terms of math, is something that we need to look at. But in terms of other comments, could Alta is asking if we could give him another day for this.
Yes, because we haven't talked to you about economy. We haven't talked about crime. Come back next week.
Judge Brown says, how can we become engaged from the diaspora? Can we lobby for you? So those are questions you'll have to come prepared. Millicent said, very enlightening discussion. Please invite him back as he progresses. And Carl says, a valid alternative, Dr. Diana. As progressive a lady such as yourself, Jamaica needs you badly. Show says, Paulette, very informative. I'm not taking on Carl, make him sit down up there. Johnny says, is there a way to determine the best vlog and a schedule for when you'd be on these shows? Not all blogs are appropriate. And everybody's saying yes, please, to coming back. So I guess you're on next week again.
Okay.
We have to talk about the as I said, the economy. We have to talk about crime. We have to talk about all of these things. Okay, we have to talk about the Senate, diaspora senator. We have to talk about. I mean, there's so much things to talk about. So, but it's good to get.
This is fabulous. It's UICJamaica.com, and we can see your manifesto there. Application forms for membership, is that available there?
Yes, you can sign up there. It's very automatic. You can go on, just put in your name, everything. You'll get your package and all of that. So everybody go to UICJamaica.com and sign up. Go to UIC Liberty TV and subscribe. And whatever you do, do not give up on Jamaica. We're here.
All right. Ras Peter said we must give the next hour, but Ras, we only have 2 hours and for 2 hours done, so we can't give what we not have.
All right, so we'll invite
It
him
was
back for next
fun.
week and we'll talk. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
care.
we
everybody.
talk.
All
Have
the
a good
best.
evening.
Thank
Bye,
you,
everyone.
everyone, for joining the show this evening, this morning. Good. Thank you, everyone across the world for being here, and we want to thank Joseph Patterson for being here also.
Yes,
We
it
don't
was
have
really
any
a
more time.
great session. I'm happy
Right.
that he came on, and it was a good show. Looking forward to Tuesday night, guys. We're on this Tuesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 8 o'clock Jamaica time for those of us in Jamaica. Want to take care of yourself. Bye.
Bye.